In this video, I'm going to explain how to complete the Terminus Easter egg in Black Ops 6 Zombies. The main quest itself isn't too bad, but the boss fight can be difficult if you go in unprepared. I'll have timestamps in the description for different sections of the quest, so if you're struggling with a certain part, you can jump straight to that part if that's what you'd prefer. One last thing, this guide is mainly to help solo players, but if there is something that can be done to help out in co-op play, I will be sure to mention it. So without further ado, let's get started. First things first, your loadout is by far the most important part of the egg. Going in unprepared without proper firepower is a great way to screw up your attempt. On screen now is my ideal recommended loadout. The XM4 is a fantastic weapon that can carry you through the whole quest without much issue. Starting with a stim is always good, however we will be swapping that for the monkey bombs later on into the run. Your lethal doesn't really matter, but C4 is always a good shout. For your field upgrade, Ether Shroud is almost a requirement on solo due to one of the later steps. If you don't have it, then Energy Mine is your other best bet. Finally, Gobblegums. In order to help you and save time and resources, I'd highly recommend Hidden Power and Perkaholic. Cashback, Killjoy, Shields Up, and Raindrops are all also good shouts for when things get a bit tight when it comes to your ammo or your points. You'll basically want to get the Perkaholic and Hidden Power as early as possible so they're no longer a focus and you can focus on the rest of your main quest. With your class fully set up, let's get started. Begin your game of Terminus as usual, working your way towards Pack-a-Punch, getting all the power turned on. The first step is to acquire the wonder weapon, the BEAMSMASHER. There is a dedicated side quest for this that I'll run through quickly, as this is roughly half of the main setup for the Easter egg. Use the arsenal machine to put dead wire on your XM4, then raise the inclined lift from the biolab up to the surface. Have your back to the PAT machine and look for this gap in the wall. Shoot the electrical box, now turn to your right and shoot the next one, then shoot the one behind the PAT machine, now run into the Juggernaut room and shoot the one over by the power generator, and finally shoot the last one just outside the door and you'll open up the secret lab. Shoot this zombie here on the floor and pick up the fob that she drops. Head up to the C tower and interact with this briefcase with a hand on it. It'll open up and you'll be able to collect the multiphasic resonator from inside. Just be careful, as a bunch of spiders will fall from the ceiling when you do this. Next, we're going to turn on 3 computers around the map. This will allow us to interact with the machine in the secret lab. Take note of the letter on the table and the symbol on the screen, as these will be required in a moment. The first computer is here, down at the stairs leading down to the docks. The second one is here, just outside the quick revive room. And the last one is here, just outside of communications. In the description, there is a link to a GitHub project that can solve this puzzle for you instead of having to work it out or pay Peck 5,000 points in order for him to solve it for you. Select the correct symbol under the correct letter, then come back to the secret lab and input the code on the machine and it will start searching for something. If this is done before round 9, then on round 9 it will be ready. When the machine is ready, interact with it to pick up the multiphasic resonator, head down to the docks and spawn in a boat. Follow my path to this island and you'll see a blue floating orb. Interact with the blue orb and the multiphasic resonator will be planted beneath it. Keep moving as lots of zombies will spawn on the small island. Eventually one of the ones with purple eyes will be zapped by the orb. Kill it as close to the orb as you can so the item it drops is immediately consumed by the orb. If it dies too far away, it will drop a blue sparking ball. Pick it up and walk it straight into the orb. Repeat this one more time and the orb will fly away to Crab Island. Pick up the resonator and follow it. The orb is now green, just repeat the same process of planting the resonator beneath the orb and killing the zombies that get zapped by it and placing the green glowing balls into the big orb twice and the orb will fly away one more time. Pick up the resonator and follow it again, this time to Temple Island, and the orb will be purple this time. Repeat the same process 2 more times and finally the screen will flash, meaning you're done. Pick up the new AMP munition that the orb drops and head all the way back to the secret lab and go to the back and craft the BEAMSMASHER. We can now, finally, start the remainder of the main quest. Look around the map for the tentacle traps. They are found on certain doors. There's one in the living quarters beside Juggernaut and 2 more down in the biolab. Look for the one that is already smashed open and activate it. Now use the BEAMSMASHER on the trap and it will drop the hard drive. Bring the hard drive back to Peck in spawn and he'll tell you that Nathan is down in the center machine of the biolab. Before we head down, we now need to find a code that unlocks the machine, and the code is very easy to find. The first digit can be found by looking at this clock here in the quick revive room by reading the time and taking the hour number. The time shown here is 25 minutes past 7, so our first number is 7. The next digit can be found here in the mess hall by looking at the playing card on the board just to the left of the main door. My number here was 3. The final digit is across the way in the engineering room and is found by looking at the days since the last injury poster to the right of the workbench. My number was 4, so my code for this game was 734. The code is different in every game, so you always have to check these to continue the quest. Head down to the big containment device in the center of the biolab, make sure the platform is already down here, then interact with the window on the big containment device. Nathan will beg you to help him and let him out. It's at this point I'd recommend having at least a PAP level 1 and no less than the blue rarity on your XM4, as well as Deadshot, Speed Cola and Juggernog, as we're about to trigger a boss fight. This is against Nathan, who has now become an amalgam. He is very tanky and you must fight him in the biolab, which is an extremely close quarters area. When you're ready, interact with the keypad on the device, enter the code we gathered, then interact with one of the 4 handles on the sides. When it turns, Nathan will be freed and you must now kill him. Aim for the glowing eyes on his main body to deal crit damage to him. Keep running in circles around the biolab, taking shots at Nathan as often as you can. Nathan can heal himself, so you have to be quick killing him. Eventually, with enough time and patience, Nathan will die. After the cutscene plays, you will be on the walkway. Jump over the edge into the water and look around for the highlighted keycard. Pick it up, then come to this computer in communications. Interact with it until it says network communication error, then head down towards the docks again. Spawn another boat, then head for the side of the crashed cargo ship. Head into the gap at the side, then climb the ladder. This is a lockdown sequence in a very small room. If you're good at training, you can train up the zombies in the room and then kill them all in one go. In a co-op game, only one person has to do this. Interact with one of the devices on the bench, then immediately drop it as you will be forced into a walking speed while you carry it. Don't worry, it won't disappear and you won't lose it. Even if you leave the room after the lockdown, it just gets put back on the bench. Kill everything that spawns in. Eventually, once everything is dead, a max ammo will spawn and you'll be done. Collect one of the devices, then get back into your boat. There are 3 locations around the map where these can be placed. Of course, since there's only 2 devices, there's only 2 that you need to put down. One can be found on this island, just across from the boat, right here. One can be found directly on the docks, right here. And the final one can be located right here in the mining tunnels on the Speed Cola side. You can only carry one of the devices at a time, so take one, reinstall it, then go back for the other one, and then place it at the other spot. Head back up to the spawn to collect the laptop off Peck from the slot that you put the hard drive in. Before starting this next part, make sure that your ether shroud is fully charged and that you have 2 monkey bombs ready to go, as we're about to start 2 time trials, one after the other. This is also a good chance to grind out some PAP levels if you need them, and the salvage you'll need for the monkey bombs, and also a chopper gunner for the upcoming final boss. When you're ready, head back down to the docks, get another boat, and head out for the buoy with a flashing light. Get out and swim right up beside it, interact with it, and you'll take out the laptop and hack the tower. Once this one is done, a 2-minute timer will start, so get back in the boat and follow the path I'm taking here. Don't mess around, as you have very little time to work with. When you reach the second buoy, hack it again and then get back in and follow this path to reach the final one, hack it, and the timer will stop. As soon as this one is hacked, get back to the main island and haul ass down to the biolab, because very soon a new timer will start. This timer will reveal 3 bombs hidden behind doors, and you must hold interact on them to make them go back down into the containers to defuse them. All the while, every single enemy type will be spawning in on top of you, from regular zombies to manglers to amalgams. 2 of the bombs are located on the lowest platform at each set of stairs, one here and right here. The third one is on the middle level and can be found right here. When you reach a bomb, throw a monkey away from you, but stay standing near the bomb so as soon as you let go, you can interact with the bomb until it goes all the way down. Repeat this for the second bomb. When you get to the third bomb, if you have Ether Shroud, use it, then immediately interact with the bomb. Your shroud will not last long enough for you to put the bomb down, so you've basically got to play a game of chicken with the horde to finish it. You might take a few hits at the end, but with full armor and jug, you should be fine. The screen will flash white, the timer will disappear, and everything will despawn. At this stage, it's time for the final boss. You must now make all final preparations, get a chopper gunner, 2 more monkey bombs, get all your perks, tier 3 armor, full pap and max rarity on your weapons, get your cash back, killjoy, and if you're running it, shields up gobblegums. When you feel you're sufficiently ready, come to this door and interact with it. You will now be teleported into the boss fight, a giant kraken-like monster called Patient 13. This thing is vicious and can hit like a truck and is supported by every single enemy type. Even its tentacles in the distance can attack you with projectiles. The first phase is simple enough. 2 red spots will appear on his body, clear weak points. Lay into these, constantly moving so you don't get hit. You can run the whole way around the boss on the platforms behind it, but as you do, the boss will move to always be facing the platform you're on. This can be used to bait it around to get a breather from its attacks. Do enough damage to the red spots and it'll disappear for a while. Use this time to refill your ammo, but be careful because now manglers and parasites will be joining the already heavy zombie and vermin spider presence. Phase 2 begins when the boss shoots up out of the water again. It will suddenly start burning and its mouth will be bright red. This is the new weak spot. Use the same strat as before, kiting it around the arena, taking shots when it's safe to, and eventually it will stop burning, and now the weak spots will be moved to the 2 tentacles it's been using to smash into the arena. Shoot these weak spots until they both break, then the red spots on its body will start appearing again. Shoot these again and the boss will disappear one more time. This is the final phase and it is incredibly rough to do. The entire back section of the arena is going to be inaccessible from now on, so don't get caught out there when the boss returns. Amalgams have now joined every other mob, so be ready to move. When the boss reappears, it will most likely start glowing blue immediately. This is a wipe mechanic and will insta-down you if you don't get out of line of sight before the explosion. The issue is the areas that you can hide are so small that you probably get overwhelmed by the horde. If you have your Ether Shroud ready, pop it when you're in the safe spot, then pop your killjoy to make killing the amalgams easier. The boss's weak spots while it glows blue are the eyes near the top of its head, otherwise it's the red spots on its body again. Be careful of its tongue attack, which is where it puts its tongue out in the middle of the arena. If you get touched by this tongue, it will draw you in and will insta-down you. There is no escaping it. Once you are in it, you are stuck and you must take the down. Throw a monkey bomb and then try and weaken the boss by shooting the weak spots. Once you've done a decent chunk of damage, get to safety behind cover and call in your chopper gunner to finish off the fight. As soon as Patient 13 dies, all the zombies despawn and you will be taken to the final cutscene. And that is it. You have successfully completed the Terminus Easter egg. If you've made it this far, thank you for sticking with the video. I know I probably went very long-winded with this guide, but I wanted to make sure that I covered absolutely everything in detail in order to help people get this egg done. While the setup itself isn't too bad, getting right to the end and dealing with the boss can be quite a challenge, especially for newer players who may not be as experienced at zombies. I also wanted to point out a few things that other people hadn't mentioned in their guides or that weren't well known or talked about, like the broken trap being the one that drops the hard drive, or the spiders all falling once you collect the resonator. I'll have a video soon talking about the pros and cons of both this map and Liberty Falls, so keep an eye out for those. This was my first proper Easter egg guide and I hope you found it helpful. Thank you to everyone who stuck with it to the end. I hope my advice was able to help you and get you through this main quest. If you could leave a like on the video, I would really appreciate it as it helps with people finding the channel for the first time. Feel free to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified if and when I upload. Have a nice day and as always, I will see you all in the next video. But until then, bye for now.